everyone.
Hello.
And welcome to A Comfort Zone on tour.
Ooh, we're on tour. We're at the beach.
Yeah, we're down at Lyme Regis. I don't know how much it's going to pick up the sounds of the sea.
And the dog.
We have a guest today of... what do you reckon that dog's called?
Doggy. They found a rock, look.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
What a find.
What a find. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Well,
They're so proud of themselves.
They're very, very proud of themselves.
They're burying it. Anyway, hello.
We are down in Lyme Regis. We are doing a little fossil hunting of our own, much like that doggo. And we just thought we would see if the sea can inspire any dreams.
Yeah. So we've been here for a couple of nights already, and we've had a couple of little dreams.
Yeah.
So far, nothing about the sea.
No.
I dreamt about hot chocolate, which we did bring with us.
Oh.
So maybe that was my holiday dream. Just hot chocolate.
Well, I had a dream about JD from the Longest Johns, and I think it's because Longest Johns are performing in Lyme Regis in June, was it? So I'm getting closer to relevant dreams.
Yeah, we're picking things up and dreaming them sort of, but nothing about the sea yet. But to be fair, usually bodies of water mean anxiety, don't they? So the fact that we're not dreaming about the sea is quite good.
Yeah.
Makes a change.
Yeah. But I guess we're going to spend the day on the beach by the sea, try and absorb it, and then we'd jump forward now to tonight when we'll be tucking ourselves into bed.
Yes, the final night that we can dream on, and then the day after we can regale you with all of our lovely dreams that we've had.
Yeah. So, see you in a bit. See you in a bit.
Hello.
Hello again, everyone.
We are in bed.
We are in bed. So today, had a lovely day at the beach.
Yeah.
Found some goodies. What else did we do?
I had a nap.
Yeah.
We went to the shop. You went shopping.
Did go shopping. I bought some little goodies to take home for people. And but yeah, it's just been nice spending a lot of time outdoors. I think just over the last few days, just being outdoors has been nice.
Yeah, it's been lovely and sunny as well. Nice and warm.
Yeah.
And then tonight we sat indoors and ate garlic bread and watched Terminator 2.
Yes.
Yeah, that was good.
So we have to see if any of these elements.
We'll have Terminator dreams.
Oh no.
It was like a strobe light and the children looked like burnt toast.
No.
And then they blew away like leaves.
No. I don't want those dreams. Gonna have to get, Sarah Connor? Get her on the podcast.
Yeah, get her on. Get her on. What
do you think it means?
I think it means...
it's gonna happen if I don't sort it out.
Yeah. You need to go and deal with it, I think.
For stress dreams, probably.
Yeah. I'd be very stressed, actually, if there was going to be a war between humans and computers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be a bit unfortunate, really.
Put a dampener on things.
Yeah.
They might stop playing our podcast. People
that'd be
good.
Listen
anymore.
Oh, well, you said they might stop.
Yeah.
I thought you said the robots might play it.
Well, they might just say no more comfort zone. That's going to be the first sign of the robot war.
Oh no. They'll have their own version. They're an AI version of us.
Do robots dream of electric sheep?
Who knows? Find out on the first episode of Robot Comfort Zone.
Oh no. So also on holiday with us is the Dream Book.
Woo!
And I thought I would look up some things in it just to see if the day does make its way into our dreams. What does it mean? So we've got beach. There's also bay, which is if I dream of you.
Beach is if I dream of you.
Oh, the bay and the beach. Well, I guess like bay is also relevant.
Yeah.
To dream of a seashore and to be conscious of a bay or inlet shows that we are aware of a woman's sexuality and receptiveness.
Oh, why?
Oh my goodness.
Is it because the boats go in the bay?
Maybe.
And the boats are the penis?
Well,
probably, right?
Cross it off on your bingo, because Greek mythology mentioned there was a woman, I cannot remember her name, a woman, and she really fancied Poseidon, so she used to go down to the beach and just splash seawater on herself in a fashion to be like, come and get me, big boy. And it worked, because of course it did, because Greek god.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it's like that.
That's good.
Maybe
one way to
she
do
was
it.
Splashing it on her bay.
Yeah.
But then beach. To be on a beach shows our awareness of the boundary between emotions and reality. Our ability to be in touch with the elements.
Oh.
The potential for emotional clarity, particularly if the beach is deserted. Okay. Well, actually it says, depending on our actions and state of mind in the dream, dreaming of a beach usually means relaxation and creativity.
Good.
I would say we've been pretty relaxed.
Yeah.
And we're here with Kat, and Kat
Kat's
has been very
creative.
So we've done all the relaxing.
Yeah.
Kat's done all the creativity.
Exactly.
But it works.
It does.
I also looked up, and this amused me, I looked up sea, and it just says sea water, and I was like, yeah, that's what it is.
That's what I want, actually.
So then I looked up water, which obviously covers a lot of different things.
Yeah, it's very big, the sea.
Yeah, it covers most of the world, to be honest. But where are the relevant bits to... I'll leave deep water. Okay. If we can see the sea as well as a river, we may be aware that a great change must occur, or our attention must be paid to the unconscious within.
Oh.
How can you pay attention to your unconscious? Is that possible? Does that...
I guess if you think hard enough.
If you really just put your mind to it.
Put your mind to it, then both your minds will start chatting. You know, the conscious and the subconscious.
And then it says sea or ocean. What is actually the difference?
Are oceans bigger?
I've always assumed oceans are bigger.
Yeah.
Just because it feels like a bigger word. But
that's how you remember.
Yeah. But that might be wrong.
I think
it feels like seas are by the land and oceans are in between the seas.
Well,
I don't know if
not
that's
necessarily.
true.
I think seas are just smaller.
Yeah. Well, it says the sea very often represents cosmic consciousness.
Oh.
That is the original chaotic state from which all life emerges. Okay, the sea is carrying a lot of weight here. Yeah,
I mean, if we were like little fishies at some point, you know, that tracks.
We crawled out.
Yeah.
Inherent in that state is all knowledge, completeness, although that may be obscured by our fear of the depths. Ugh. We do not fear that which we understand.
So I don't understand most things. Is that why I'm scared of the ocean?
Yes, that's why we're constantly anxious, because we don't understand anything.
Oh no.
A shallow sea suggests superficial emotion. The waves in the sea represent emotion and lust. A calm sea suggests a peaceful existence, while a stormy sea signifies passion, either negative or positive. To be conscious of the rise and fall of the tides is to be conscious both of the passage of time and of the rise and fall of our own emotions. Well, we've been very aware of the rise and fall of the tides just because we didn't want to get stranded.
Yeah.
So
and
we've had to be.
You know, low tide's the best time to find fossils, so...
Yeah. So we're conscious of the passage of time, which is true because I've been very aware today that it's our last day on holiday.
It is, yeah.
That's made me... But yeah, so if we dream of the sea tonight, it simply
can mean
just
anything.
means everything.
Yeah.
So
that's good. We've got all our bases covered.
Yeah.
It'd be a short episode though.
Yeah. It's just simply everything.
It just means everything. Yeah.
My goodness. I can't even think of like a shallow sea suggests superficial emotions. That I can't wrap my head around that. The meaning of that. Like a shallow sea. Is that just like low tide? Or is that... What does
maybe
it
it's
mean?
like, just a sea in your dream, but you can, you're in the middle of it, but suddenly you can touch the bottom sort of thing.
I guess so, yeah.
Because anything can happen in a dream.
True. Well, there you go. So everything is covered from literally everything. Lust, passion, and the passage of time.
And what was it? Cosmic what?
Cosmic consciousness.
Incredible.
So if the sea does visit us, we've got a lot to cover. I guess it's time for us to get snuggled and go
I suppose so,
snoozes.
but now I'm thinking about the sea.
Oh no.
Which is bad.
Keep it in your mind. Summon it to your dreams.
I don't want to dream about the sea.
Oh.
I don't like it.
What would you like to dream about? I'll look that up. Maybe that will summon it. Shall I open a random page?
Yeah, go on. It's going to open on penis. It always does.
Nakedness is
there.
In
It is, see?
Nail, name or narrow?
Nakedness. What's that? Oh, it
says sea nude.
Oh.
So you might...
No, I'm thinking about the sea again.
Thinking about the sea naked. Oh my gosh.
Sea water.
Well, there you go.
Have you ever been swimming in the sea and then gone so far out that you're at the drop-off point?
I only remember doing it... Well, not even going that far out, but it's when I was little. And it's the only time I've ever been to Italy. And we went to this lovely beach, because we were staying in like a caravan park that went onto the beach. And it was like really jagged rocks and then the softest sand I had ever felt. Oh. But the soft sand bit was so far into the sea that I couldn't...
when the water got cold.
Well, it was just that I was so little at the time that I couldn't... I was fine breathing if I was on the jagged rocks, but as soon as I was on the soft sand, I wasn't tall enough to have my head above water.
God, that's horrible.
So I just spent all this time being like, do I want to stand on jagged rocks or bob in the ocean?
Oh. No, just go back. I remember when I was little, we went on holiday, and I don't know how I saw the drop-off because the water's all brown on the east coast of the country, but I remember my sister going really far out and she went past the drop-off, and then I was just sort of on the edge like, nah, I'm not going that far. Like, as soon as you go past that and the water goes all cold, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
No.
You like that little dog we saw today. We saw this doggo who the mum had gone out into the sea and the dog was just like, get back here, just barking away like, what are you doing, get back. And they kept on trying to run out, but the waves, they were only a little dog and the waves were washing them back onto the beach and they were like, come back here,
mother. Oh, that was me, yeah.
We also had a dog that I'm pretty sure was trying to herd us back to their owner because they were just like, what are you doing wandering off?
They were like a little collie, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were just trying to take us back. No. There are so many dogs. There's dogs everywhere.
Yeah, very good place for spotting dogs.
Saw a Rottie today. And we saw the big Dulux dog.
Yeah.
I saw a bully dog today.
It's like lots of little like Shih Tzu type dogs as well.
Lots of Shih Tzus.
And spaniels. So many
spaniels. We saw a Scotty dog today as well, didn't we?
We did.
A very good posture and a little boot.
Yeah, it's a very good place for dog spotting, Lyme Regis.
It is.
Would recommend. I guess probably a lot of beaches, to be fair.
Yeah.
Saw a Labradoodle doing a poo on the beach. That was nice.
That was good, yeah.
We're women of culture. What can we say?
What other doggies have we seen? The little poms, a lot of poms.
Oh, and whilst you were having your nap, I saw a chihuahua, and it was one of those ones that has the big, you know, the ears that like fan off and like the really hairy ears.
Oh my
It was
God.
one of those. Looking very good.
Wow.
Oh,
Impressive.
let's dream of them tonight.
Yeah, now that's good. Now we can go to bed thinking of dogs.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Well, everyone, tuck yourselves in and we will see you in the morning.
See you in the morning.
Night, night.
Good night.
Mwah. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We are now actually back at home.
We are.
It's been a little while since we honkshu mimi'd, but it was the day that we were leaving, so we've gone home. Now we're all settled back in and ready to discuss our dreams.
We are. Sorry, I'm so distracted. There's a squirrel outside and I think it's humping something. I think it's humping the fence. Sir.
Oh my.
I'm trying to record a podcast.
That's not where you're supposed to put your nuts, sir.
Get out of here. My goodness. How rude. But yeah, we are home now. So we didn't really have time on the day that we left to do a little record because we had to be up and out and pack everything away and then skedaddle. And then we streamed, didn't we? So yeah, we were in a bit of a hurry. So we thought, we'll wait until we're home and then we can assess what has happened while we've been away. We can talk about our dreams, we can think about them, and we can report back to you, which is exactly what we're going to do now. Did you dream very much, my brain?
I had dreams every night.
Really?
But I've forgotten all but the last night of dreams. I think
kind of was the same. I think I dreamt every night, but I forgot all of them except the first night.
Oh.
Because I forgot them as soon as I woke up. It was just tale as old as time. I woke up, I forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first night, I do remember that dream.
Well, what was your first night one? Did I tell you a dream that I had whilst I was there? Maybe.
You might have.
I've forgotten both the dream and the retelling.
I think you did. I remember you telling me, but I have also forgotten. We're so good at our job, aren't we? We're really good at what we do. Well,
what happened was...
Do you remember?
Well, no, I was going to say what happened was we went away with this full intention of like, let's do a comfort zone thing. Let's go away. And then it was so nice that we just relaxed and we just had time off.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I think we've both just been so stressed and burnt out lately that being away, we just forgot everything.
Yeah. Because every day we're like, should we record? Should we do that? And then it's like, oh, we could just go to the beach and stare at rocks for 3 hours. Let's do that.
And that was kind of how it went, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been very nice.
It has been very nice. It was much needed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did have a dream and I remember it. So I can regale you with that one if you want.
Yes.
So this was on the first night that we stayed in Lyme Regis. And I dreamt that I was in a hotel. And it was a very nice, fancy hotel. I was in my room. Sorry if I clear my throat a lot. I've got a bit of a sore throat. I was in my room and I fancied a hot chocolate. So I went out to the reception to ask for a hot chocolate. But when I got there was someone at the desk and they were complaining because the reception or the hotel staff refused to take hot chocolate outside to some people that were out the front of the hotel. It seemed that they were either protesting or they were homeless or both. But the hotel staff refused to go and give them hot chocolate. And apparently it was very cold outside. And this person was very upset. So eventually they moved on. And then I stepped forward just to get my hot chocolate because I wanted one for me. And I was like, just a hot chocolate, please. And the reception lady was like, how many would you like? And I was like, and she was like, 6. And I'm like, and I was kind of picking up the fact that she was in her own subtle way trying to get me to take hot chocolate outside without the staff being involved. And I was like, yeah, okay, 6, sure. So she gave me 6 hot chocolates on a tray and I went to take them out front to the people outside. And I went out the door and as I was walking out there, suddenly the tray felt really flimsy, like it was made out of paper. And I was walking down the little steps out the front to get to these people, and suddenly I'm just dropping this hot chocolate everywhere to the point where I only had like 1.5 cups left. Like the rest had just gone everywhere, all over the floor. And I was just like, oh, geez. So I handed out what I had. And one of the people came up to me, like an old lady, and she was like, oh, I know you've handed out what you could, but, one of the cups you've got there still has a little bit in it. Please, can I have it? It's so warm and I just want to taste the warmth. And I was like, yeah, all right. So I gave that to her. And then I went back in and I was just like, well, I tried. And then I went to head back to my room without my hot chocolate. As I headed that way, another member of the hotel staff, it was like, I think it was a lady, a cleaning lady. She was sort of following me a little bit, like trying to get me to talk to her. And then suddenly, like, she poked her head out of a hatch in the ceiling, like, we really need to talk. You need to come up here. And I was just like, oh, geez. So I'm trying to get up this hatch to talk to her, and the ladder keeps moving. And she's trying to steady it, and it's just moving side to side. And it took ages for me to get up into this hatch. And then I finally manage it. And she kind of scolds me for taking the hot chocolate out the front. And she hands me a letter. And I tried to read it, and it was just classic dream writing where none of it made any sense. But I think it was basically telling me I was in trouble. But also it said that it knew I was a vampire. And I was just like, oh, geez, I've been rumbled. And that was it. That was kind of the whole thing. So there you go.
Okay. So the strange thing here is I already have bookmarks in the dream book for hotel and Carrie because my dream that I had on the last night,
right?
I'll jump straight into it, was that I was in a hotel and I was at the reception.
Asking for hot chocolate.
Not asking for hot chocolate, but I was I was trying to take food up to the room and they just piled loads of food onto the tray. And I remember it being like, what's it they call it? Like a British tapas, when it's like potato smileys and chips. And,
yeah.
Like just like beige food.
It
was just piles and piles of fried like onion rings, like fried beige food. And I was trying to balance this all on the tray. And then I was trying to carry it up to the room. And I just couldn't find the right lift or the right stairway that I was meant to be going up. And I was just sort of stumbling around trying to balance this tray. And I never made it up to the room. I woke up before I did with this tray. So with that in mind, we can just look up those things.
Yeah.
And they will be relevant for both.
Exactly. Perfect.
So, I mean, I guess a hotel makes sense because we were staying away in a strange place. So it could just be that. But also hotel, it says, dreaming of being in a hotel can mean that we need to escape from a situation in our lives for a short time. Conversely, it can also mean that a situation we are in will only last for a limited amount of time. To dream of being a guest in a hotel can indicate that we are unsettled and feel we can only temporarily settle down.
All of the above. We're on holiday,
like
it's not going to last.
Yeah, because I guess for me, it was our last day. So I just assumed, because when I read this in the book in the morning, I was like, oh, it's just that we are leaving. So I'm aware that it's a short stay. But I guess also when you get there on the first day, you're also sort of aware like, oh, this is only a couple days that we're here for.
We're not here for long.
But also, like, we've both talked a lot about being burnt out and the fact that we did just want to have a break.
Yes.
I guess that is relevant.
Exactly.
For Carrie, it says, to be aware of carrying an object suggests we need to look at what is being accepted as a burden or difficulty. It says if we dream of being carried, we may feel that we are in need of support.
Oh. What about like dropping stuff?
Oh, I wonder if drop is in here. It went way too far ahead in the book. Drink, drowning. No, nothing in between.
Oh, interesting.
No dropping. But yeah, I guess, I mean, it could literally be like you just have a lot on your plate or on your tray.
On my tray.
We've chosen to represent it.
Lots of hot chocolate and lots of beige food. which incidentally is mainly what we ate while we were away.
There were cherry tomatoes with that pasta. That's colourful.
There was Tia Maria in that hot chocolate. Wait.
Yeah, that's more brown than beige. It's healthy.
Oh dear. Yeah,
I had ketchup with my chips.
I think that's really interesting how we ended up having really similar dreams.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because I guess as well, both of them sort of represent, like, you having that hot chocolate that you're trying to divide out could easily be like, it's your time that you're trying to divide out into, like, lots of, well, in this case, homeless people. But I guess it could just be they represent different, like, factions of your life that you're trying to divide your time between. And I guess also, similarly for me, like, I do pile too much on my tray all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm always like, oh, you want to do this? Yep. Oh, extra freelance work? Yep, I'll do it. Yep. And then I'm like, there's literally not enough hours in the day, but I'll make it work.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like we were both in a really similar situation and we've just ended up, just having the same dream. Basically.
Yeah.
The vampire part in mine was because I've been playing Vampire the Masquerade.
Oh, I wonder if Vampire is in here, so...
Yeah, that's true. Because they specifically mentioned kindred, which is what the vampires call each other. Vampire the Masquerade. So that was very much video game inspired. Have you found it?
Oh my gosh, you say that. But it's actually sort of quite relevant. It says, when heavy demands are made of us on which we do not feel capable of meeting, a vampire can appear in a dream. We are figuratively being sucked dry.
I see.
And then it does go on to say more vampire things. The vampire or bloodsucker is such a fearful figure that it is accepted as an embodiment of evil. Often the fear of emotional and sexual relationships can be represented in dreams as a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Because the human being still has a fear of the unknown, ancient symbols that have represented this fear can still appear in dreams. The succubus and incubus preying on young people's vital energy is often pictured as a vampire.
Oh, man, vampires are
because I guess
cool. They're just cool. They're horrible,
with like
but they're so fucking cool.
Like early vampires were they more pictured as beastly? Was it Byron who made vampires be a bit sexy? I don't remember my vampire lore.
Yeah, you might be right there. I think they were, well, yeah, I would say so. It depends. It sort of comes and goes, really. Because if we think of like literature, stuff like Nosferatu like was very beastly, but that was explicitly a ripoff of Dracula, who was kind of sexy. Right?
I want to read Dracula. It's one of the ones Dracula. That I would like to...
There's one book, there you go, that I've read that you haven't. That's impressive because, dear God, I don't read. I did wake up this morning and read a chapter of my book, though, and I'm at that. Thank you, Holiday, for that. I've actually started reading. Hooray!
Another vampire book?
No, this one I don't quite know what this one's about just yet. I think it's sort of magic necromancy a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure yet.
I mean, necromancy is very vampire.
True. It's in the same vein, but it's not. But I am also listening to the audiobook of Empire of the Vampires. So, yes. All of the above. Vampire, necromancy, etc.
Romancing those necks.
They're just so cool. They're just so cool. But yeah, I think... I'm trying to think of what I've looked into with regards to vampires. I think originally, obviously, everything always goes back to religion, right? And it's like people died and, you know, they'd shove a brick in their mouth so they don't come back and bite people. Yeah, that was how it went, really. And the whole, I think, myth of vampires, it comes from different places. Stuff like their repulsion to water comes from stuff like rabies, and sunlight comes from other diseases. Their long fangs come from, you know, if you look at a dead person, you know how they say like, oh, dead people's fingernails grow. It's not their fingernails growing, it's their skin shrinking. And it's the same thing with the teeth. It looks like their teeth have grown too. So people say like, you know, they've died and they've become a vampire. It's just because it looks like their teeth have grown. So yeah, originally you could say beastly, but it's also just like the myths surrounding death and rebirth in quotation marks, but coming back from the dead and haunting people, really.
And I guess, did it also start being linked with like tales about, sexual promiscuity and stuff was always portrayed as like how in the more modern day slasher films, it's always like the teens who are out and they're, getting laid, and then you've got the more like virginal one that's always the one who survives to the end and stuff. Was that sort of vampire based as well?
I think like I don't really know. I'd have to sort of look up where it originated from. But in a lot of vampire literature, a lot of it is allegory for like sexual assault, stuff like that, purity, and then like lose the opposite of that, like losing virginity and stuff like that. It's, the whole thing. I sound like the Dream Book, but it's very much like, biting at someone's neck, puncturing them with your teeth is like it's
penetration.
It's penetration. It's sex and stuff like that. And I think that's sort of maybe, I guess that's part of the reason why they've just ended up being like the sexy monster, because half the time their stories are about how they're hard to resist and how they're very, very beautiful and very alluring, but it's in a not very nice way.
See, it's sort of interesting because
I love vampires. It's so cool.
Well, I guess for me, because I wrote my dissertation, this is a weirdly niche thing that no one ever finds as interesting as I do.
I know what you wrote, and I think it's super cool. Carry on.
So my dissertation was on the representation of AIDS in cinema, sort of comparing Hollywood depictions and indie depictions.
I think it's such an interesting thing to look into, like, for real.
It really is. And a lot of that was sort of things where you had the sort of like, in a lot of horror movies, obviously, when you've got this like silent killer, like I think a lot of people theorize that a lot of those sorts of films and things like The Fly as well, are just like about AIDS and HIV and the spread of this thing that people don't quite understand. So I think there seems to be like a link with that and vampires as well, of like, if you just, do as your parents tell you, you'll be fine. It's like, it's a strange one.
Yeah.
When did vampires start being linked with bats?
God.
Was that a Dracula thing? Or was that before?
Maybe. I don't actually know. I feel like I could write a full essay on this stuff, but I would have to sit and I'd have to research everything again. Like it doesn't stay in the memory banks. My brain is like a sieve. But honestly, that's a really interesting question. I don't know. Like I think it maybe could be attributed to Dracula. Maybe. Because there are earlier works like Carmilla where bats are nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
In Carmilla, I think she might not even be that sunlight averse. I'm pretty sure she can go out in the sunlight and stuff. But that said, like sunlight repulsion is way older than any of those. But like it varies depending on like the novel and the writer and stuff, and obviously it still does today. But it's just one of those things where it draws from so many different sources. It could be multiple, but yeah, I don't actually know. It might be worth doing a little Google because that's an interesting. Why are vampires related to bats?
Because I guess they share a lot of like the characteristics, being like night creatures and cute little fangs. Although then obviously you get fruit bats, which are like vegetarian vampires. I want to suck your mango.
I think, hang on, I've ended up on an Elder Scrolls lore Reddit. That's not right. I was asking questions about vampires. I
heard they're reforming the Dawn Guard, actually.
They're reforming the Dawn Guard. I think it is just because of like vampire bats and like their little fangs and
Yeah.
Like the idea that vampire bats might feed on blood. The majority of people are probably surprised at the notion that Bram Stoker's Dracula wasn't involved in the naming of the vampire bat. Blah, blah, blah. Dracula wasn't published until 1897. So whilst it plays a huge part in why bats are associated with vampires, it's not the initial reason. The immense popularity of Dracula has cemented the link between bats and vampires, most likely for many more years to come. So I think Dracula had a lot to do with it. But if there was any instance of it before that, let me know. If you know, chat, please comment.
Yeah.
Tell me. I want to know all about vampires. But
is Dracula public domain?
Yes, I believe so.
Ooh.
I think
because I've been wanting to do
has been public domain for a long time, because I remember one of the first apps I downloaded on my iPod Touch was one of those apps that just was full of public domain stories. So it had the Odyssey, and it had Dracula, and it had all sorts. So and that's where I read Dracula on my iPod Touch.
I've been thinking of doing reading streams for a while, but obviously I'd want to do something that's public domain, because it seems a bit mean to buy a modern author and just be like, I'm just gonna give your book away for free.
Yeah.
So I thought if I could do something old-timey and public, that'd be good.
I think people say that Dracula does drag on a bit.
Dragula,
but I haven't read it since I did my GCSEs. I basically, we were doing Frankenstein, so we were reading around the subject, doing gothic horror, and I wasn't that keen on Frankenstein, so I was like, I'm just going to read Dracula instead. So I did, and I liked it, and I finished Dracula Frankenstein in the end. But my teacher bloody loved me for reading Dracula. She was like, oh my God, you're reading around the subject. That's so good. And I was like, the secret is that I don't care about Frankenstein. But yeah. But
it is funny,
sorry, you go.
With some of those books, I remember trying to read Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
Is it that way around? Yeah. And it's I just remember finding the language of it so walking through thick mud.
Yes. I think,
but to be fair,
a lot of books like that struggle with that.
Yeah. I think there is also that element of obviously a lot of the time being told to read a book is just a big stumbling block for me.
Yes.
I literally dropped out of AS level English because they told me to read a book, and I was like, I can't read it now because you've told me to read it. So I was just like, I'd sooner drop out than read a book that I can't force myself to read.
Yeah, it didn't help that half the books we had to read for GCSE and A level was so boring. I'm so sorry, Ian McEwan. Unless Ian McEwan has done something recently which I've not heard about, I don't know. I don't know who's been cancelled and who hasn't. But Ian McEwan, Enduring Love. What a boring book. My goodness. It was so boring.
I had that I tried to read Lady Chatterley's Lover because I was like, oh, it's a classic. I was on holiday. It was in the caravan. So I was like, oh, I'll give it a go. And that I found I might be able to give it a go now. Now I'm a bit older and I'm a bit better at just the habit of reading. But it felt like everything was repeated 3 times. And it drove me crazy because it would be he walked through the door. Through the door he walked. It was the door he walked through. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. He's in the door.
Now what is he doing?
He sits down. On the chair he sits. The chair upon which he sits is the chair he's sitting in. I'm like, okay.
So, my goodness. If you want to give something similar to Dracula a go, Carmilla is older than Dracula, so I imagine that's also public domain, and it's a short story, and it's written in short chapters, so it took me a couple of hours to read it, so it might make for just a nice one-off stream, to be honest. And
Eridan Le Fanu?
It's vampire, very gay, and she's the first lady lesbian vampire in literature. There you go.
Oh wow! And of that time.
Yeah, it's older than Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's all right. It's pretty basic, but it's a nice little read and it's quick. So And you can, the thing that I like about reading old stuff like that is you can sort of see where a lot of tropes have been established, which is fun. But yeah, so that's a little one. If you don't want to dive into reading a really long, he doored through the door, through the door he went, and then he looked back at the door, which he just entered through. Yeah, that might be a little bit lighter and a good one to start with, maybe.
It's funny because, like, some books you read, I mean, I'm going to be lumping a lot of ages in together, I feel, but some books you read and they are just like, you know, very archaic language, it feels like. But then when I read things from Jane Austen, it feels very modern. And I don't know if it's just because those were a bit more like, you know, they're not exactly like Gothic books. They're obviously meant to be, you know, more storytelling in a, I mean, it's one of those things that I don't want to play down Austen as being like simple, because her writing is very clever and very intricate in a way that I think people don't give her credit for a lot of the time. I think they think like, oh, it's just girly pop stories, but they are very good. But yeah, I find reading those is like so easy versus some of the books of around the same time that are just really like, they feel like they're very much older.
Yeah.
Than hers, but yeah,
it's a lot more difficult to read. I think the ADHD struggle of reading a book where you find you read a page and then you realize you've not paid attention to anything on that page is exacerbated so much by older books with more archaic language. It's like, yeah, I didn't absorb what happened on that page, but even if I remembered a tiny bit, it doesn't make any sense. And it just takes a lot more effort to process sometimes. But yeah, I would recommend Carmilla for a cheeky little vampire read if you fancy one.
Oh my gosh, all of the searches. I literally just put in Carmilla. That was the entirety of my search. And it's like, people also search, do they kiss in Carmilla?
Do they kiss? It's not quite as overt as that, because it is quite an old novella. But, you know, it's one of those, like, I don't know. You know, you watch an old movie and there are two like male characters, but they're really tender with each other, and they're not explicitly like, oh, those two are gay. It's like, oh, they're really good friends. You know, it's kind of like that, but it's a little bit more.
They were roommates.
Yeah, very much like they were roommates. But it has that.
They were tombmates.
Yes. Tombmates. But it has that vampire-esque element to it where it's like, this is wrong. Something is wrong with this. Like, but not in like a homophobic way, but in a, I feel like something supernatural is going on kind of way, you know? It's yeah. I hate this, but I also love it, and she's so beautiful. That kind of thing.
See, it's one of those things that when you have, I'm trying to think how to word this because I'm not very articulate, but when you, because obviously I had to watch a lot of gay cinema for my dissertation. I just had to. And the difference between like just having a natural couple who happen to be gay and they just have different ways of showing intimacy versus Hollywood sanitization and, you know, like in one of the films I studied was Philadelphia, where Tom Hanks plays a gay guy. He's like the main person in the film.
Yeah.
And it's very much that, just like, hello, darling. Hello, husband. Let us shake hands. And that will be it. I'm just like, there's no affection there whatsoever. You've just done it because you're like, you know, and it just feels a bit like, oh, we're getting the Oscar for this because we've tackled a subject.
Yeah.
And it's just stuff like that I'm just like, and I'm not saying like it has to be full on, like, you know, if they're not rutting every 5 seconds, I don't believe them. But I just mean like, you need to have like, I hate that thing where you can feel the producers patting themselves on the back being like, yes, we did something, you know, for the gays.
No chemistry.
And I'm like, no, you didn't.
Yeah. No, you
didn't. You did it for you and your pockets. But yeah.
I like how our beach episode has now turned into the vampire episode. I'm not sorry.
Yes.
I am not sorry.
Well, that's what the B stands for in LGBT. It's the beach.
Beach. I thought you were going to say vampire. I was like, hang on a minute. That's not right.
Vampire.
Vampire. Lampire, vampire, gampire, tampire. Wait, LBGT, that was fuck. God damn it.
I think there's another interesting thing in vampires and perhaps monsters in general, given our interests, according to chat, that there's something like, again, I'm so inarticulate when I'm trying to word these things, but there's something like, obviously, if a vampire actually came into your room and was there, you would be terrified. It would be horrific. You wouldn't be like, oh, hello. Bonjour. But I think there is something very interesting about having that level of safe fantasy, like whether it be like a sexual fantasy or something, like when people were just like, ooh, Astarion, way. Like, obviously, if you actually met him, it would be very different. But having that level of like safe, consensual fantasy, I'm just like, I think there's something
that's
interesting
exactly.
in that.
I think that's sort of what makes it exciting, Like if you were being realistic about it, it would be like, oh, Jesus Christ, what are you doing in here? Get out. I'm calling the police. It's like, oh, okay. It's like in
the vampire police.
I'm calling the vampire police. Like going back to like Carmilla, like no spoilers just for early on, but Carmilla is not the kind of vampire that has to ask permission to be let in. So at the beginning of the novel, on the novella, there's like a scene where there's like, it is like mild spoilers, but it's, it's a given that she's a vampire. Yeah, spoilers, she's a vampire.
What?
There's a scene where she's like standing at the end of someone's bed. Like, and it's just like they wake up and they look and like she's standing at the end of the bed, just sort of unmoving, like a shadowy figure. And it's like, if that happened to me, I'd shit my pants. But, I don't want to read about the characters shitting their pants. It's sort of, this is going to go into a lovely, horrible romance sort of situation, not a shitting pants situation.
Pants. My pants, I have shit. The shit, it was in my pants. Thrice I have done this.
I mean, like in Dracula, like, you've got him knocking on the window, like, oh, let me in, and it's like, no, piss off. I'm gonna let him in,
please.
No.
I want cookies.
I live on the 4th floor. How did you even get out there?
Window cleaner. I'm not falling for it, dude. Get away.
Not again. Get out of here.
There's also something like, is this a millennial thing that we just go on vibes a lot of the time? But things like when people are watching something like, for instance, The Mandalorian. Did you ever watch The Mandalorian?
I haven't seen The Mandalorian, no. I need
to.
But
the look of the guy, like his little suit that he wears, his little Mandalorian uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are times when like people talk about like, oh, the Mandalorian, he's so sexy. And obviously this isn't really spoilers, but there is one particular scene where the helmet comes off, which is a big bad thing in Mandalorian.
Isn't it Pedro Pascal under there?
Yeah, and even though it's Pedro Pascal, people are like, he takes the helmet off and they're like, oh.
The mystery's gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's back on. They're like, hello.
Oh. I think people had that issue
with the masked thing.
Yeah, I never watched it, but apparently the really bad Halo TV show had that issue. Like they took Master Chief out of the armor and everyone was like, what the hell? You can't do that.
But I think it's the same for like monsters. It's just sort of like going on the vibes of like, ooh,
mysterious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we have something like a masquerade ball. You put a mask on, it's like, oh, who is this mystery man?
Isn't there a film? Oh, is it Eyes Wide Shut or Eyes Wide Open?
Eyes Wide Shut sounds
like
really something.
They're both films.
Right.
One of them is a really good gay film that I watched. that I recommend to all. The other one is just like a bigger masquerade orgy film with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman in.
Oh,
and I can never remember which one's which. One of them's really raunchy. One of them's really tender and sweet. And I've only seen. Oh, I'm gonna. Why can I never
Speaking of
remember
orgy
this?
films, have you ever seen Perfume with oh geez, what's his name?
Oh,
Paddington, Ben Whishaw.
No, but
no, I feel like I'm the only
it.
person who's watched this film, and I really want to get someone else to watch it because it's wild.
I can watch it. Is it the
please
murderer one?
Yes.
I think I've heard of it.
Do you know what happens at the end?
No. Should I watch it without knowing?
Yes, but also don't watch it in front of parents, I guess.
Oh.
But yeah, basically Ben Whishaw meets a woman and she smells nice, so he goes on a murder spree to recreate the smell of this woman. And then the rest I will let you discover. Somebody please watch the movie and get back to me because it's wild. It was fun. Good watch though. I enjoyed it. And the end was a time. So please watch that and get back to me. Thank you. There's no vampires in it.
I've looked it up. Eyes Wide Open is they couldn't be more different. Eyes Wide Open is a film about a gay Jewish Orthodox man and how he navigates that. It's Eyes Wide Shut that is the very raunchy masquerade ball type one.
Okay.
It's a Stanley Kubrick film. Very different vibes.
Very different.
Perfume, because it's not going to be like, does he make perfume?
Yeah.
Out of
women?
Women?
Yeah. Spoilers, but not spoilers for the end. He is killing women so that he can distill their scent.
Oh, do you remember, did I ever show you that beer?
What? Is it made out of women?
Yes.
What?
There's a beer.
The yeast, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
For those who bathwater isn't enough.
Yes.
You can get vaginal yeast beer made of different, and you go onto the website and you're like, oh, I'm going to choose Stephanie. Stephanie Ale. My goodness. But I wondered if it was a perfume in that sort of fashion.
In like a vaginal yeast kind of fashion, or
like if it's
it's the whole body.
Oh,
distilled.
Okay. Oh, speaking of, Kirsty and I. Okay, this is a bad link to make. We've
got a new business venture.
On holiday, we bought sourdough starters.
Oh, we did,
nothing
with regular yeast.
Yeah. It just reminded me. So we have to get those started. If we do them on the same day, they'll be like twins.
Oh, that's true.
It just reminded me because I Googled the beer and it came up with a thing saying that a blogger had made their own sourdough in their own way. They're very connected to their sourdough, shall we say.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
There's a BuzzFeed article that says it's, in quotes, not impossible to bake sourdough bread using vaginal yeast, but you probably shouldn't eat it.
How did we get to this? This is the holiday episode.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm not going to read out what this says, but I will send it to you for your amusement. You just have to find the BuzzFeed article yourself if you want to see the hashtag that's going around.
Jeez.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to having my own sourdough, but not my own in any biblical sense. Just that we bought because it's really sweet. So basically, we went to a mill. I struggled. We went to a mill.
And
and
at the mill. At the mill.
just trying to say to Alex that there was a mill, and he's like, "You had a meal?" And I'm like, "No, the mill.
There was a mill.
Went at the mill,
a mill where they make flour."
Yeah. Flour. You know, a flour mill.
Flour mill.
And, but it's nice that we've seen where the flour was born. Well, I guess we've not seen like the fields, but the field.
Yeah, but
we've seen where it became flour, which is nice.
Yeah, we had a little tour of the mill, and we got our little sourdough starters, and it was very nice. That was one of the things we did on holiday, which we were going to talk about today, but we ended up talking about vampires and vaginal yeast. But yeah,
it's like on QI where they have a different letter as the theme. This week's comfort zone is V. What else can we talk about? That seems a good note to finish.
Yeah, I guess we'll talk about what we did on holiday next time.
Yeah, but as you can tell, it's refreshed us.
We've
got new
I feel
vigor.
Renewed vigor. V. Oh my god!
We had chips with salt and vinegar as well.
I had curry sauce, but vinegar. V. I also had salt.
Oh my gosh! The price of the chips.
Oh, I know.
I was flabbergasted. This is like a Freddo chat now.
It is. Chips are so expensive now. It used to be a budget meal, but not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's like a tourist spot as well, but I looked up the price, and it was on Google Images where it just has the picture, and it was like 3 years ago it said, oh, it's this much. And then as I scrolled across, it was just increasing the price more and more the more recent the photos got. And then when we actually went to the chip shop, it was still more. And I was like, oh my gosh. Can I have your prices from 3 years ago, please? Because I remember looking at that and being like, still expensive, but reasonable. And then it just kept on going up and up and up.
Yeah, just up. But this is the V episode, not the I episode for inflation. So we can't talk about that.
It's very expensive.
Very expensive chips.
But very tasty.
Yes. And we also got lots of nice things on the beach, like fossils and sea glass and stuff. I didn't find as much this time as I did last time, but I think that's because we went a bit later in the year and there were a lot more people on the beach snapping up the goods.
Yeah. But and we were a bit more casual with getting down there as well.
Yeah. Like, we were just chilling. We were going on vibes, and it was really nice. I think maybe I'll do like a little, maybe we both can do a little mini video of what we found and just talk through it.
Yeah.
And we can pop it on the Patreon or something. You can have a look at all of our trash.
And we can keep you updated on the sourdough babies as well.
Yes, definitely.
So I might make mine today.
Ooh. I'm going to play Oblivion all day.
Nice.
V for
Please send me your character.
Oh, I will. I can send it right now.
Oh, you have created.
There you go. They're an Argonian and they're hot pink.
Ah, lovely. Lovely.
I booted it up last night. I got home. Sorry, I'm talking again. We should be ending, but whatever. I got home from Bristol after driving back to Bristol, did the stream, and then drove home. I walked in the door at about 9:20, 10:09, something like that. And I had a ping on Discord from Xylus to everyone.
Oh, Blood on
Fuck
the Clock
it. Let's play Blood on the Clock Tower in 20 minutes. I was just like, okay.
I saw your reply that was like, I guess Oblivion's going to have to wait or something.
I said the universe doesn't want me to play Oblivion.
Yeah.
So at midnight, I played Oblivion and I made my Argonian and I booted the game up. The opening cinematic played and I was just sobbing and I'm so happy.
Aww.
And my brother, when he launched it while we were away, he was like, the opening is making me cry. I was like, yep, it does that to me too. Because we both played so much Oblivion. Oh dear. I'm so excited. I love this game so much.
Aww.
But yeah.
Well, enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
And everyone else, thank you so much for listening. Kirsty, thank you very much for a lovely holiday and a lovely chat.
Thank you so much, Bronco. And thank you everybody for listening.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed our
next time,
ramblings about God knows what.
Our vamblings.
Ramblings.
Until next time, everyone. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.